I'm Katie Darrell, and this is At Home and Social. Today we are chilling with Perry Farrell. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me here.
I feel like the real descriptive word I should use is the godfather of the summer festivals, because you're so synonymous with summertime fun and festivals because of Lollapalooza, obviously. So thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
This summer, we are now in 2021, where we actually all can go out and rock out. And you have a couple things up your sleeve for Jane's Addiction. Let's rattle off some important dates and festivals. What's on the books?
We have the Beach Life Festival in Redondo Beach. That's going to be really special because Jane's Addiction hasn't played for probably 5 or 6 years. Mm-hmm. And we're doing it in our backyard right on the beach.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty awesome. I'm going to go down there in September. I'm going to go down there with a couple of boards prior to the gig and just surf.
Are you a good surfer? Or, I mean, like, where do you rank
yourself? I was a good
Scale 1 to
surfer.
10.
In my younger days, I battled some beasts. These days, I like it head high. I'm fine. Warm water, too.
Yeah, duh. Are you a longboard or a shortboard guy?
I can do either. I came up in the shortboard era. In fact, my first board was this board that I called the egg. Everybody called it the egg because it was round shaped like an egg. And they would laugh at me. They would think like that is the funniest shape for a surfboard. Now everybody's riding them. That was back in the 70s.
It's like the Mork and Mindy. Remember when he had like the egg that it's like a Mork and Mindy ship.
Exactly. But that was my surfing ship.
Nice. Now, obviously, so you have Beach Life Festival. That's in September. Louder Than Life is in September as well, and it's a different vibe because Beach Life, obviously, the beach, Ziggy Marley, but Louder Than Life, Metallica, Korn, and Jane's Addiction, right?
Yeah. So that's September 23rd. It's going to be in Kentucky. I'm excited to go there. I don't know why, but I'm really looking forward to Kentucky. Maybe because I know Matt from Cage the Elephant, and I'm expecting everybody to be like him.
Yeah, I know this one guy from Kentucky, and he's cool. So everyone
really
must be cool.
No, he's really one of my favorite people.
So, okay, so you mentioned that. So Jane's Addiction hasn't played together in 5 or 6 years. Okay, and now here we are this summer with 2 festivals with Jane's Addiction. Define the relationship right now. Is the band back together? Is the band just together for festivals? Is the band together making new music? What's the definition here?
Yeah. Well, I can't speak for everybody, but I'll speak for myself.
Like any true relationship, right? You're like, I don't know what she's thinking, but I'm totally into it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, personally, I've been making music. I mean, I make music through the week. I have plans to release a track a month. So I love the guys in Jane's Addiction, and I want to record with them. But I don't know what their plans are. But I'll talk to them about it. I'd love to get in. I mean, these days it's a little bit different, Katie. We meaning us older guys that are established now. There's not really a need to come out with albums. Although maybe one more album before I die would be awesome with Jane's. And I think we could do it too. I would like to be prolific for the next 5 years. I think then I'll be able to take a vacation. But I ask them. I always, I call them up time to time. I've got this track, man, and they're not ready. So I will give it off to kind of have an orchestra. I've got a new track by Porno for Pyros coming.
That was my follow-up question. Stop stealing my thoughts. I was going to say, now define Porno for Pyros. What's going on?
Yeah. So we have a track coming out, Aqua, and it's about how water affects mankind's mental health.
Activism's in your blood. I mean, just right there, you mentioned about water and its relationship to us. Ah, yeah, there we go. Everyone hydrate. When did
I
you
bet
feel
you
that it
didn't
was
think I
important?
drank water. You know, you never see people drinking water on television.
Yeah, exactly. It's always fake empty cups in the sitcoms, right? You see them lifted up and you're like,
Yeah,
they didn't
and
have
they're
the
not
right
allowed to
weight.
drink. They're not allowed to drink or eat.
Yep,
Not
because then
so here.
then
I drink
makeup
and
to
I eat.
set. When did you feel that it was important to become an activist and use your voice for good?
When? You know, I think it really kicked in when Lollapalooza was created. As I had a chance to do a lot of different things with the idea of a Lollapalooza, which is something and or someone great and or wonderful, and a giant swirling lollipop. So, one of those colorful swirling lollipops.
Oh
So it's
yeah,
got all these colors,
Disneyland
but they're
one.
they're all swirling in, and they're making sense to your tongue. So we try to do the same thing with Lollapalooza. So want to have Butthole Surfers and Henry Rollins and Ice T and James and Nine Inch Nails, and we want to have Greenpeace and an art gallery and all those things. It's like that swirling thing
Mm-hmm.
was going on, and it worked very well. And it was things that we were interested in. The whole alternative nation idea came out of alternative energy, because at that time the world was being introduced to alternative energies: hydrogen, solar, hydrothermal. So I wanted to do something to give back somehow.
Yeah.
I was in the position to do it. That was 1990. And so I thought, yeah, man, let's heal the ocean. Let's do all these great things. Somebody gave me a book. The book was called Dying from Dioxin. And that's a great book if you ever want to learn about what's going wrong with the environment, why there's global warming in the first place. It all comes from dioxins. Those are pollutants. You get them from cars. You get them also from waste, like things like throwing away bleach and aerosols. It
Yeah.
explains everything.
Speaking of Lollapalooza, how'd you come up with the name? What was the brainstorming process like? Was it you alone in a room, or was it a think tank?
No, it was me on a dirty carpet. Do you remember shag carpets?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I
Shag
was on
carpets
a
make me then always think of that Fiona Apple music video. Remember her in that for Criminal? She's rolling
yeah,
around on the shag,
yeah,
all
yeah.
crapped out.
So I was. The reason I remembered is because everybody keeps asking me how to come up with a name. So I immediately remember laying on a dirty carpet, blue, dirty blue, different pentatonic shades of blue, white, dirt, and then
Mm-hmm.
we had in those days. I was about to say Bibles. We had in those days dictionaries. Like, we
Mm-hmm.
didn't look up a
Sure.
word online. We could only look it up in a dictionary. And I liked reading dictionaries because, as a young poet, you never know. You might run across a word. The word is so amazing, it sparks a song. Or
Yeah.
you get to throw some interesting words. It's kind of like writing music when you're writing poetry. So, anyway, I was going through, and I knew that we had this last tour. And Mark Geiger, my buddy from William Morris, who co-created it with me, told me I should come up with a name for it, a special name for it. That's what we do. We name our tours, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I came across the Lollapalooza. It was in the L section.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then it just okay, there it is.
that's it.
And now
It's that
everything, it seems
simple.
like everything is a palooza or a fest nowadays. So pretty
I know.
cool.
I kind of like it.
How
You want to
come?
hear something? Want to hear something funny about that? So
Yeah.
early on, my lawyers kept on trying to sue people if they would use Palooza. You understand why? Because A,
It's
they get a
confusing.
lot of money. With the more people they sue, the more money they make. But also because we can't let people use it, because what if it's a shitty thing? Like, what if it's like Devil Palooza or something like that? Then they think that I did it, and then I'd have all these
Kill
vendors
Grandma
chasing me.
Palooza.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, exactly. So at first I said, okay, sue it, but I always felt bad about it, because I felt like they're just so excited about being able to come up with this thing and calling it a palooza. And I eventually just told them, leave them alone. Don't worry about it. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, don't worry about it. Because I knew
Although
in the
some of
back
those
of my
people now have
mind,
great cease and desist letters from you. So that's like a nice little thing that they have.
yeah, some of them do, but I always felt bad about it, because I kind of felt like I didn't invent the word, It's not my word. Go ahead and do your best with it.
Sure. How come when I look at the Lollapalooza lineup this year, I don't see Jane's Addiction, or I don't even see, Kind Heaven Orchestra?
Well, it's because this year we pretty much had to go to the lineup from the year before to carry it through. Next year might be a different story, and I would not say that you wouldn't see the Kind Heaven Orchestra there in some incarnation.
Dun dun dun.
I'm just guessing because I know a guy.
So for those of you tuning in, I'm Katie Darrell. He's Perry Farrell. We are talking at home and social. And speaking of new music, Kind Heaven Orchestra. So this is your latest and greatest project, and this is a band, a 9-piece orchestra, and you created this with your wife, correct?
The way I came up with the name was I was reading the book 1776. It's about the American Revolution. And there was this lovely letter that one of Washington's soldiers sent to his wife. And it was, I don't know if I'm going to make it home, because, of course, the Redcoats were invading the country. And he goes, but if I don't, I know that we'll meet again in kind heaven. And I just thought it was just such a lovely sentiment. The writers in the 1700s and 1800s, God, the way that people spoke was so beautiful. So I at the same time, I was thinking an awful lot about heaven. Yeah. Because, where people go when they die, and will we see them again?
Sure,
all that.
Sure.
And I just thought it was a good time in my life anyway to start such an orchestra. So it's not limited to 9 people. The orchestra I will hope that eventually the entire world sings on my recordings.
Ooh, very polyphonic spree.
Yeah. The last people that we had were David Bryan from Bon Jovi, and Elliot Easton from the Cars, and Taylor Hawkins from the Foo Fighters. It was on the latest
Nice.
Kind Heaven Orchestra recordings.
Not too shabby. Recently, you appeared on The Big Interview with Dan Rather on Access TV. And one of the things you guys discussed was that you didn't really start singing until the age of 21. It wasn't encouraged growing up, and you kind of thought that this was something you had to be trained to do in order to do it professionally.
Yeah.
And then you hit the punk scene and you realized it didn't take that, and it took courage. How has your courage changed from youth courage to adult courage? Would you make those same bold decisions and go out there on the limb and try to sing?
I wouldn't. Well, I'm making bold decisions, but wise, bold decisions. So, as an example, I'm not going to run away from home. I'm very happy in my home now, right? But I might try to see if I can make the Israelis and the Palestinians make up, kiss and make up. That's kind of bold, right?
Yeah.
So I just, it actually, when you're a human being, when you're young, you're trying to get a grip on yourself. You're trying to like control your animal nature, your outrage, and direct it. And so when you start to do that, it turns into art. But you always have this urge to, I don't know if you use the word danger, but I think all men test their bravery against danger. So how do I do that today? I don't run away from home. I don't need to do that, but I still need to test my bravery. So I thought, why not go to the Middle East and see if I can put a party together for those guys. That sounds kind of brave.
It does sound very brave
Yeah.
indeed.
So that's what I'm into today. Yeah.
When did you realize you were famous?
First time we were in London, and I was going down they were telling us about this cool underground club, and it really literally was underground, so you had to walk down into it. And as I was coming up, my eyes met Ian McCulloch from the Echo and the Bunnymen, and I could tell that he knew who I was. And I just kind of kept it cool, but I was dressed really wild because, back in those days, the goths, they really stood out,
Mm-hmm.
And they had lost my luggage, so I went to a sex shop in London, and those things are naughty. And I bought all this PVC.
As one does when you lose your luggage.
And that's the only thing I had to wear because they lost all my luggage. So I was just walking around with S&M bondage gear from the London sex shops. But anyway, maybe that's why they went like, wow. I thought they were going, it's you, but maybe it was my clothes. But anyway, the other guy was Lemmy. Lemmy from Motorhead was also down there, and he looked over at me. And I thought, hey, he recognizes me, but now it might have been the clothes. And also, who else was there? I'm going to tell you, one more guy. Mick Jones from The Clash. And he did the same thing. He went like that.
There's always a chance. There's a chance it was the outfit.
It could be.
Oh, man. So I remember when the Ben Caught Stealin' video was basically played on MTV every other video, maybe every third video. It was on such high rotation that you couldn't get away from that thing. And then subsequently, you won an MTV Video Music Award for the video.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy the process of making music videos, the art form of that?
I love the process of making videos. I wasn't so crazy about MTV, to be honest, because as a musician, I felt that they should have been giving residuals. They were using the artists, but the artists, that was the kind of thing about it.
You were giving them free content.
I was giving them not just me, but everybody was giving them free content, and it didn't feel good. So that was my issue with them, but very happy that they played the video, obviously. It propelled us. But back to your conversation about videos and making just art in general. Today, the modern musician has got to be so well-rounded because they're going to be doing a lot of things themselves. And back in those days, I kind of felt that I would have to be doing it. And I was first an artist anyway, so it came as second nature to me. I started doing art professionally at the age of 5. So I was a jewelry designer because that's what my dad was. My dad was a jewelry designer and my brother was as well. So I went into the family trade and I was designing jewelry on 47th Street in New York, the Diamond District.
At age 5?
Yeah. Yeah, they had me
bigger
make a
diamonds,
peace sign.
Dad, bigger diamonds.
They wanted me to make a peace sign on a on a little ringlet that a chain could go through. So I designed it. That was my first design. Should make another one.
Nice. Is that in the family somewhere? The original?
God, I hate to tell you this, but when my dad died, I got nothing, including like none of his jewelry. Well, I did get one thing. He gave me this pendant from this organization. They're called Hadassah. They're a Jewish charity, and that was the only thing I got. But that was enough for me. I loved it.
You I mean, when you talk about Jane's, you sound very hopeful. Like I feel like there is a future. I think there is more. I mean, before we close out the conversation, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I feel like your energy is that something big is in the future.
I would like it to be, sure. Why would I like sit on Earth alive and not want to see what could be with that project?
Yeah.
Couldn't.
Are the guys
that.
still a good team? Are you a good team?
You know, when you get to a certain age, you start seeing your life from a perspective because you had a chance to kind of move far enough back that you can get a far-sighted view of it. Then it kind of starts to change your personality, you know? You're maybe not so harsh on something that you were previously like, oh, I can't deal with this. Then maybe you see, well, maybe there is a way I could deal with this.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Perry Farrell, it's been so lovely talking to you. Nice to meet your acquaintance. Stay safe and have a great summer festival tour.
Thank you. And I hope I run across you when we're out there.
I hope so too. Hey, Redondo Beach is just down the street, so maybe I'll stalk you there.
Come over. Yeah.
Hey there. Thanks for watching Access TV. Subscribe, follow, like, and do all the good stuff. And make sure you leave a comment below. I don't know, just let us know what your favorite Access TV show is, or who your favorite bands are, and what artists you're into, or just say hi, man. I like to be told hi. We love hearing from you. That's the point, all right? Keep it coming.